What's up, y'all? This is Anthony, the intern. I'll be giving the lesson today. I know I said a couple weeks back that it was going to be my last time giving it a couple weeks ago, but turns out it wasn't, so this is my last time. But we're thankful for you guys, that you guys are online watching, and we are very thankful for you guys. And we'll be introducing a new theme for this month, but Pastor Steve's going to introduce more, and he's going to show us a video, so let's watch Pastor Steve.
Hey there, boys and girls! Welcome to the Mr. Giraffe Show! I am so glad you've joined us today. It's gonna be an awesome day, but you know what we need to do before we get started? We need to sing the Mr. Giraffe Show song. Ready? I am Mr. Giraffe. I am Mr. Giraffe. I am Mr. Giraffe. And this is my little TV show! Yeah. Well, boys and girls, we've got some incredible things to do today, and I'm so excited that you are along for the ride. But before we get into all that, did you know that this week is National Broccoli Week? Yes, it is National Broccoli Week. So that means all week long, you need to expect your mother to have broccoli at every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. National Broccoli Week. Oh yeah! Does that sound good? No, I don't think so either. I can take some broccoli every now and then, but not every day, every meal. All right, well, enough of that. Let's get up in our big comfy chair and let's get down to business. Well, boys and girls, here today on the Mr. Giraffe Show, we have a wonderful thing to celebrate. It's time to announce the Mr. Giraffe Show Man of the Week. Next week we'll have another one, but this week, this is the one. This is going to be great. Okay, well, before I tell you who the Man of the Week is, let me tell you about some of the things he's done that makes him deserving of our honor. Well, boys and girls, first of all, you might not know it, but I really enjoy working in my yard. Now, as a giraffe, it makes it super duper easy to trim the stuff that's really up high, like in the tops of the trees. But I have a bunch of monkey grass at my house. Now, this is not grass made out of monkeys. It's a type of grass that grows really low, it gets really green, and looks really pretty. Well, it's very difficult for me to take care of that monkey grass. So, our Mr. Giraffe Show Man of the Week came by my house and trimmed up my monkey grass, and it looks as beautiful can be. It just makes me want to act like a monkey whenever I see that monkey grass because it looks so good. Well, that's not all this man has done to be honored as the Mr. Giraffe Show Man of the Week. He also has created and developed and provided something that has now become my most favorite snack in the whole wide world. Well, at least for this week and maybe next week too. But take a look at these. We've got some tiny little gummy bears. They're so little. They're so yummy. They're so sweet. They're perfect for a giraffe like me. Oh, our Man of the Week has done so much, from the monkey grass to the gummy bears. So let's put our hands together, boys and girls, for your friend and mine, Pastor Steve. Oh no, my gummy bears. Well, oh my goodness, thank you. Here's your gummy bears back, Mr. Giraffe. Well, I can't believe this. This is so great. I'm being honored as the Man of the Week on your amazing show. That's so great. Well, yeah, Pastor Steve, you've been knocking the ball out of the park, doing such nice things for me. I can't think of anybody that would be more deserving of this honor than you. Well, you know, Mr. Giraffe, I was just trying to be a good friend to you. I want to treat others the way I want to be treated, so it just seemed like the right thing to do. Well, that's just exactly the kind of thing I'd expect the Man of the Week of the Mr. Giraffe Show to say. Well, Mr. Giraffe, that really means a lot to me. Well, Pastor Steve, to honor you for being the Mr. Giraffe Show Man of the Week, I've got a lovely little medal here for you with a red, white, and blue ribbon. Oh, wow, a medal? Cool. That is so awesome. Wow, I will wear this with pride, Mr. Giraffe. Thank you so much. Well, Pastor Steve, since you're here, would you like to tell the kids anything at all about the lessons you've been creating to teach them about the Bible? Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. Kids, we're actually kicking off lessons about the element of integrity. Wow, this is going to be such a great month. Well, today we're doing the first lesson about the element of integrity. And the big idea for today, kids, is check this out. Integrity honors God. The way that Mr. Giraffe did some special things to honor me here today was really, really sweet. But you know what? The choices that we make to do right, even if no one's watching, that is a choice that honors God. And we don't honor him with some little medal or something. Our life honors him, and it brings glory to him. And that's what we're going to be studying about today. So I know you're probably really, really ready. So we're going to get to that really, really soon. But I guess I'll kick it back to Mr. Giraffe and let him wrap up the show. All right, boys and girls, let's end the show by singing our theme song together. What do you say? Let's go. I am Mr. Giraffe. I am Mr. Giraffe. I am Mr. Giraffe. And this is my little TV show. Yeah, yeah.
I'm back, y'all. Thank you, Pastor Steve, for showing that video. Like I said, we will be doing a new theme for this month, and the new theme is Integrity Honors God. Now I want to show you that there's different stories in the Bible that show us about integrity. There's different characters in the Bible, different Bible stories that have showed us about integrity, and different people that have had a lot of integrity in the Bible. And there's different stories, like I said. There's different characters, many different people, and obviously today we'll be in the book of Daniel. And obviously Daniel wasn't the only person that showed integrity, but he's one of the main characters that lived a good life, and the Bible doesn't point any bad that he did. It didn't show like anything that he did wrong, but Daniel was a great person of integrity, and we will see this through the story that we go through together this morning. It won't be long because, I don't like looking at a screen for a long time either, but we will see this in the book of Daniel, Daniel 1, verses 8 through 10. And I will go through like a little recap of what happened here. So Daniel was under King Nebuchadnezzar, and they were all under him. And he decided that he was not going to eat of the meat that was not supposed to be eaten, and it was a commandment by God. And so he did not eat of that meat, and so he thought he was going to get in trouble for it because they were commanded by the king to eat that type of meat, or eat meat to grow stronger and be healthier. But Daniel and some other people said, you know what, well, we're going to stand for God, and we're going to follow God in the way that he has commanded us to. And so he continues that for a while, and then at the end of the time, they realize that Daniel is one of the most healthiest, and then he ends up being one of the go-tos to the king. And so we see that through this life that he, through his integrity, that he decides to follow Jesus, to follow God, and in his commandments, that God ends up honoring him and honoring the commitment that he had towards God. And so we see that integrity is very important and that God always honors it. And and we'll be reading Daniel verses 8 through 10. It says Daniel chapter 1, verse 8 through 10. And it says, "But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children's which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king." So this eunuch was one of the high eunuchs. The prince of the eunuch was like second hand to the king, and so Daniel knew him and was very close to him. He was like, "Well, I'm not gonna." And the prince said that he's not gonna, like, he didn't want to endanger himself, or he didn't want to end up dying because of Daniel, because he is refusing to eat the meat. And so Daniel said, like, I'll be fine. So just give me this, and I will honor God with what I do. And we can see this through many different things that happens here. So Daniel and these other three decided not to eat the food of Nebuchadnezzar ate, because they knew that at the end that it would be better for them. And the reason was because the meat was unclean. And I know we're thinking, well, you can just cook the food and then it can be clean. But that's not how it worked. It was unclean because it was unclean spiritually for them to eat that type of food. And so, not because they had been rolling around in dirt or any of that, but because it was just unclean spiritually, and it was disobedient to God. It actually means spiritually dirty and obviously disobedient to God. The Israelites avoided certain food and drink because God commanded them to not eat or drink these certain type of things. But the Jewish men who ate Nebuchadnezzar's food were disobedient to God's rule. But Daniel was not going to do that. He was not going to follow everybody else, and he was going to stay committed to God's commandments, and he was going to honor that. And so he told the chief that they wouldn't eat or drink those things, and asked for permission to skip the Babylonian diet and just eat plain vegetables. And they were just going to stay to vegetables, so they were probably vegetarians at the time. And so so that person was moved by the Lord to allow this change of diet, but he was concerned that would happen, that if that happened, that King Nebuchadnezzar would find out and be mad and upset with him and possibly kill him. So in Daniel verses 11 through 16, it says Daniel's proposal. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and drink and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in the matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh, and that all the children which did eat of the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. And so he was saying that like the other people still took their diet, but that they took the different diet. So the Bible indicates that God blesses these guys for their obedience and integrity. Because of their integrity, Daniel and his friends ended up in the palace ended up serving Nebuchadnezzar directly. So they ended up being higher than the people who even took the food that Nebuchadnezzar wanted them to eat. And so then these people became even more important and they became Nebuchadnezzar's second-hand people. And so God's word shows us that Daniel and his friends honored God with integrity, and that they didn't give in when life got difficult. They didn't give in whenever they seemed like their backs were against the wall, whenever they thought that there was a better path, but in reality God's path had been much better and will always be better. And they didn't choose the easy way. They maintained their faith, and God took care of them as He always will. So the application to this is that, kids, we gotta know, and we know this, but God will always take care of you, and you're going to be faced with situations where sometimes you just have to take the difficult road, and sometimes you just have to put your faith in God and know that He's going to take care of us, and He always will, because He's promised to take care of us, and He's promised to always be there with us, and He always will, because He's just a great God, and He'll always be there for us. And just like Daniel and his friends, they did not know how the king would respond, but they just did what was right, and everything turned out perfect. And I know that we think, obviously, everything won't always turn out perfect, but at the end of the day, whenever we're in heaven, we know that everything will be perfect up there, and we will be perfectly fine whenever we're in heaven with Jesus. But who would you rather be like? The group who went along with what they were told to do, but forgetting who they were and what God had commanded them to do? Or would you rather be like Daniel and his friends, who ended up being even better than the people who took the food that Nebuchadnezzar offered? And I hope that you would make that choice. Remember that integrity honors God. And that doesn't mean that God will always help us to be at the top of the class, or that everything will work out like we hope. But sometimes people who do right get mistreated. And we know that happens a lot, and especially in our day, in our age. Sometimes the people that stick up for other people are the people that really want to honor God. Those people are sometimes the people that are mistreated. But we know that God would always honor that, and that God would always honor you for taking Him over everything that the world offers. And we know that, but if we do right in all situations, regardless of the outcome, knowing that God is honored and pleased when we demonstrate integrity is all that we need. And we just need to learn how to honor God and have integrity, and know that taking God's way is always better than what this world can offer. So that's just all that I want to share with you guys. Have integrity, always do God's thing, and we'll see you next week. Will probably be Brother Chris, but hope to see you soon in person, and we love you guys. See you guys later.